In this lesson, we'll look at how to listen to user inputs and work with state in React. So here we have a text box. So how do we listen to the user input and then use what is entered by the user within our React application? For example, we can use what is entered as an input for an API call. So to be able to do that, we need to understand React state. A state is just data that can change over time. So we're going to get whatever that is entered here in this box. So if I enter beauty, I want to get this value, okay? And I want to use that within our React application. To do that, we're going to store the value in what we call a state. And then each time this value changes, React is going to keep track of that state and then render components based on the changes that's done here. So let's come back here into our app component. To define state in React, React lets us use what we call hook. So we're going to use a useState hook, which I already declared here. And we're going to declare, I'm going to call it search term, and then I'm going to set search term, and the initial value is going to be empty. We have defined a component around the input text, right? We need to define what we call onChange here. But I want to explain one of the beauty of React, and that is the fact that we can define a component and reuse it in different places multiple times. Whoever is going to call or utilize this input search should be able to pass down necessary event handlers. What I'm going to do is define the event handler within the parent component and then pass it down as a prop to the input search component. So a parent component should be able to pass down data or event handler functions that the child component need. The data or handler or function that has been passed down is called prop. So let's do that. Search input. This is going to be a prop. Okay, we can call this one anything we want. Then we're going to pass in here this function, set search input. Now, in here, I can also use object destructuring and get the set search input. So now on change, I'm going to set search input and I'm going to pass in e.target.value. Okay, and that's all we have to do there. So now let's console.log our search input. Just to be sure, I'm going to console.log here, search input, search input. And let's see, let's enter elegant. Okay, so you see search input elegant. So now we have this value, we're tracking this. So also note that as this changes, React is rendering the components. I want to quickly handle some of the errors that is happening here, or warnings, right? We can disable this warning, ESLint warnings, but what we can also do is just define prop types, right? Because it's saying right now that it's missing prop validation. So how do we do that? We're just going to import prop types from prop types. Okay, and then right here I'm going to set input search dot prop types, and then define the prop here. So set search input is going to be function dot is required, and that error should be gone. Okay, so elegant. Yeah, there's another event that I want to track. So when I enter a value here, when a user press enter, so when I press enter, right now nothing happens, right? So elegant, when I press enter, okay, let me clean this. So when I press the enter key, nothing happens. I want to track the enter key. Okay, so how do we do that? There is an event called onKeyDown. Okay, I'm gonna change this one here. Okay, so there's another event called onKeyDown. Okay, and when I press that, I'm gonna handle. Okay, I'm just gonna have handle key down here. Okay, and I'm gonna pass this also down here and handle key down, and I will set these handle key down. Now right here in the apps.js, I'm gonna pass that down here. So let's define what that is. Constant handle key down, and I'm just gonna take an event. So now I can do is if the event dot the key equals to enter, that is when I want to set the search term to be. Okay, I want to set the search term. So I'm going to also create another state here. I'm going to call it search term. Also just going to be empty. And then right here, I'm just going to do search input, right? Set that. And now I can pass these into the input search. So undo key down, undo key down. And I'm also going to console.log that. Okay, now let's type elegant. When I enter, I get the search term. And I'm doing that because I don't want to React. If I'm going to be calling an API, I don't want to try to call an API at every input here. Okay, I want to call the API only when the user press an enter key. I'm going to stop here. In the next lesson, we're going to be integrating with the dictionary API.